morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Interwire 2027 Exhibition Planning Webinar and Industry Outlook Panel presentation. My name is David Fisher, President of James Monroe Wire and Cable, and the 2026 President of the Wire Association International. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you on behalf of the WAI. We appreciate you taking time out of your Monday to participate. Whether you're a longtime exhibitor or planning your first Interwire experience, this session is designed to equip you with everything you need to make informed decisions, secure your booth space efficiently for a successful event. Before we begin, I want to highlight that every participant today will be entered into a drawing for 3 $100 Amazon gift cards. So thank you for being here. The drawing will take place at the end. We're going to start with our Industry Outlook panel featuring insights on market dynamics, demand trends, and what the year ahead may hold for our sector. Joining me on the panel are Raul Garcia, Director of Technology and Development at Via Cable and member of the WAI's Board of Directors, and Paul Fromm, President and CEO of Central Wire Industries and member of the WAI's Board of Directors. Thank you again for being here. With that, let's begin today's session and move directly into our panel discussion.
All right, gentlemen, the first question for today's panel: how would you describe current business conditions in your segment of the wire and cable industry? Are you seeing stability, growth, or areas of softening?
For myself, the segments that I'm in, industrial, elevator, hoist and crane, and other markets are very, very strong. Definitely better than 2025. We're seeing projects that have been sort of in limbo getting kicked off, and there's been a lot more flow and industry stability. So from that point, it looks like a good year in 26.
Thanks, David. I can add also a similar comment. Our participation across the spectrum of manufacturing involves aerospace, oil and gas, petrochemical, medical, and then a wide range of consumer goods. We're also seeing a lot of opportunity. We've seen a lot of projects that I think were tentative in 2024, 2025. They may have carried into 25, but they're definitely on the table for execution in 26.
Thank you, David, Steve, and John, and the team of the Wire Association International for the invitation to participate. First of all, I want to clarify that I'm speaking from the experience of my work in Via Cable. For those of you not familiar with this company, Via Cable is a wire and cable manufacturing company leader in Mexico, a strong participant in Central, South, and North American markets, with a total sales of $3 billion in construction, industrial, power, and magnet wire segments. Related to the question, I would say the current business conditions are very strong, but they are also volatile. The market seems to be really, really strong, but we know things can change overnight due to external factors like commercial tariffs. In our case, in Mexico, that's a big factor, geopolitical conflicts, or any other. Right? So I believe this is the moment to be connected to the industry, to our customers, to suppliers, and in general, to all the value chain in order to understand how to react to any of these disrupting events. And this is the right platform. What Interwire offers is a platform to help you do that. I think in general, we have a great potential ahead of us, a strong market, and we need to understand it to perform that.
All right, perfect. Moving on to our next question. Compared to this time last year, what changes, positive or negative, have you observed in customer demand or project activity?
Thank you, John. Definitely more positive outlook. There was definitely uncertainty in 25 with the political outlook, not only domestically, but globally. But a lot of our customers have shown that they've worked off some of the inventories, the projects at hand that they were either skeptical or putting on hold have definitely moved forward. And there's a lot more volume and a lot more positivity out there for moving forward in the industry and not waiting to see what's going to happen, but taking the reins, taking the forward position, and moving forward with projects that need to happen to strengthen their market segment. So definitely a positive upturn from last year.
I would say that the tariffs for sure have had quite a dramatic impact. I think that as the Supreme Court's decision, recently which came out, we're still seeing the effects of that. What's going to happen? I think the overriding condition, though, is that if you don't or didn't prepare, or let's say take a step forward with respect to investment in your operation, that you're going to be even further behind where you may not want to be. So I see, again, even with the uncertainty, people are moving forward from a decision-making perspective to put in place at least the conditions or the insight into the market to put them in the best possible spot for launching into expansion in their business. And I think expansion is the ultimate word right there.
Okay. So I would say that we're observing a growing demand in most of our industries. Last year was a very strong year, and 2026 seems to be very similar. And for that reason, we're here in Via Cable are continuing investing in our growing capabilities. And basically, every segment where we participate, we're growing and we're investing. And this is between several other factors, because there are some structural things happening in our industry. Like, for example, the growth of artificial intelligence that is driving all of these investments in data centers and the very high demand in electricity sectors because the obsolescence of the electrical grids. Basically, in all the countries, Mexico, US, and most of the Latin American countries, the electrical grid requires a modernization and an upgrade, and that is driving some of the good news in the industry. Additionally, there is some relocation happening of manufacturing from Asia to North America, including Mexico and the US, and that's also driving more work to our region. So I would say, in general, 2026, we'll see positive, similar to 2025.
Excellent. For question number 3, what do you believe will have the greatest impact on the industry over the next 12 to 18 months? For example, raw materials, workforce, technology, or global economic factors?
Thank you again, John. From my perspective, being a custom wire and cable manufacturer, obviously raw materials plays a crucial role in negotiations, gaining orders, gaining business, with copper being as high as it is, and other volatile materials that I use. Raw materials is definitely a key factor that we watch. But the biggest thing for us is workforce. In the Northeast, it's been difficult to gain, whether it be plant employees or engineering or other staff that is crucial for our business. And I think workforce over technology in my world is going to be a crucial factor going forward in the next couple of years. We all have aging workforces, and that's one thing that we're watching. The global economy is always a factor, as it was last year, but for me, being in a small independent company, that's what we look at: raw materials and workforce.
I think from our standpoint, we're seeing a lot of adjustment on the raw materials side, really kicking in from CBAM coming into play in Europe. Some of the limitations on scrap leaving Europe and where it's going, I think, is going to be very interesting in terms of raw material pricing as it flows back and forth. And then, of course, you've got tariff issues. Workforce, I think, will continue to remain a challenge on the developmental side, but we are seeing technology factors coming into play where, when we look at what really matters on the shop floor from the standpoint of implementing new strategies or new production systems, the technology now is, I think, evolving to the point where you can't ignore it, and you've really got to embrace it and take a look at what it's gonna lead to. Global economic factors. Well, I mean, we know what the agenda is by the current administration in terms of developing the U.S. market from a manufacturing perspective. I think that is taking hold, where there's a lot of conversations around reshoring, nearshoring, and yeah, I think if there's a healthy balance between tariffs and expectation of growth, you're going to see a lot of stimulant coming into the market in terms of capital flows, and it's an exciting time. Having 9 manufacturing plants in the U.S., each plant has different needs and different requirements at different times. So there's a wide variety of opportunity.
Thank you, Paul. In our case, the tariffs between Mexico and the U.S. and between the U.S. and other countries may be the largest factor that can impact our industry, because the figures are so large that it just creates a big imbalance on the competitive landscape. And this factor is causing another big issue, which is that more investment in manufacturing is happening in the U.S., and there may be some limitations on the available labor in order to support all of these plans. In our case, the critical factor for expanding our manufacturing platform in the U.S. is making sure we will have enough labor force in terms of not only quantity, but quality, and also stability over the mid and long term. I would say, besides these 2 factors, there's another big factor in our industry, which is the copper price, and that has been also very volatile. At the end of the day, it remains high, which is relatively good for the industry and promotes growth. But in general terms, there are several big factors that, if we understand how to play them, it should be in our favor.
Excellent. For question number 4, are there particular end-use markets such as utility, automotive, construction, data/telecom that you expect to accelerate or slow down in the coming year?
Thank you, John. For us, data center, we all know how vital and crucial data centers are right now with all the expansion and growth across the country and the world. So huge market. A lot of industrial markets that I play a role in have escalated, and those are going to continue to be strong. Being that we are an elevator cable manufacturer as well, that's always been for maintenance and upgrade has always been strong and will continue to be so. We are as well a custom manufacturer, so a lot of new projects, a lot of designs, whether it be small amount, 1,000, 5,000 feet, that we're getting opportunities on that may have been on the back burner or have been dormant through the uncertainty of last year. So there's a lot of different markets that we play a role in, but those are the largest at this point that will continue to accelerate into climb in 26 from what we've seen.
Yeah, I think from our standpoint, definitely aerospace is a major market for us, and we'll continue to see expansion and growth there. I expect we're going to see a lot of activity on the military side, as we have been, and we will continue to see that. Army, Navy, Air Force, definitely there's many projects that are ongoing. I still expect to see some transformational growth on the automotive side as well. I think that's going to be a surprise moving forward as things reshape themselves. A lot will depend on CUSMA, if that can be renegotiated, if we can come out of that with a trilateral agreement that is beneficial to all 3 economies, then I think we're going to see a lot of shared growth between the 3 countries. That's yet to be seen, but we've got our eyes on that very closely.
Okay. In our case, I believe there are a couple of particular markets that are accelerating very strongly. And the first and maybe most important, agreeing with Dave, is the industrial data centers. As I also mentioned, based on the growth of artificial intelligence, which will increase exponentially, the need for electrical power is huge, right? So that will be definitely one of the critical markets that will continue growing. The second is just the electrical grids, cables for transmission and distribution, because electrification is happening everywhere. And even though there are some limitations and some problems to continue moving as fast as it was several years ago, this trend is not going back, and electrical grids will have to be upgraded. In Mexico and in the US, the transmission capacity in many times is the bottleneck for upgrading the whole electrical system. And this will have to be modernized and upgraded for sure in the coming years. In our case, the only industry that I observe with relatively negative trend from the Mexico market is the automotive industry. And this is because there are some manufacturing sites that are moving from Mexico to the US due to tariffs. But I will say the opposite will happen, like Paul was mentioning, in the US. Now, for sure, the dynamic of the automotive industry in the US will continue very strong.
Excellent. And so for our final question of the Industry Outlook panel, for suppliers preparing for Interwire 2027, what signals or indicators would you advise them to watch in the coming year?
For me, John, I would say is to, as a customer who goes to Interwire, who values those relationships and those connections, I would say the suppliers to stay in contact with your customers. There's not a bad time to go to Interwire, whether things are in your markets or your industry. If you see things a little slow, might be more important to go than if you're busy and trying to figure out if you can justify the trip. Interwire is a unique experience where everybody can stay in touch. You can see new things. You can rekindle old relationships. And I think for the suppliers, obviously, just staying in touch with their customers, getting the feel of where they are, where their markets are, and engaging what to expect. But it definitely is a great and unique opportunity to go, regardless of where you feel your business is at. So I think it's definitely a need either way.
Thanks, David. I'm going to answer this question from a personal perspective, and then bring in some flavor from our company. When I go to Interwire, I go with the thought in my mind. I'm going to look very, very closely at every company that I see, and I'm going with a basket of requirements. And even if I see something that I think they may be involved in or on the fringe potentially of being involved in, I'll see some product or service that they're offering. If there's something else that butts up against that, I'm going to ask. So my feeling on this is that if you're going to Interwire, you need to be prepared for every possible question and outcome from a conversation. And I say that because you may find things, or you may be asked about things that may not necessarily be in your basket today, but very well could be close to your basket, and maybe that next product structure or item that you want to get involved in simply because somebody asked you the question and it needs a little bit more research on your side. And truly, I am asking because I think that the market fundamentally has changed from a supplier perspective, and just the number of companies that have come and gone from the industry, that have changed over the years, that used to do something very specific, but that's no longer available to them, or they're not involved in it for many different reasons, leads to opportunities for others. And I try to instill in all of our people at CWI, be completely open, be transparent, but listen very, very carefully to what's being asked, because you could stumble into something that's very lucrative for you. And I would say to the suppliers that if you're considering going, go and bring all that you've got. Today, more than ever, it's so very important.
Thank you, Paul. So I believe the Interwire 2027 will be a very critical event to reinforce the connections between suppliers of equipment, suppliers of raw materials, manufacturers of the wire and cable industry. We're coming from a couple, 3 years of expansion, but as we have mentioned here, these are times of volatility and require being aware of signals and react quickly, so we can take advantage of the opportunities and prepare for the challenges. In that sense, the value of the network created by Interwire event is something nobody from this industry should miss. It's a great opportunity. It's once every couple of years. We in Via Cable are planning to send an important group to take advantage of this event. So I honestly recommend this is the right time to participate and get engaged in the discussions.
Excellent. That concludes the panel segment for today, and I'll turn it back over to David to introduce the next segment.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you, Raul.
Thanks,
and Paul.
John. Take care,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you to Raul and Paul for joining me for an excellent discussion, sharing their perspectives on the opportunities and challenges shaping the wire and cable industry as we look ahead. We're now going to shift our focus to the Interwire 2027 Exhibitor Preview. This segment will walk you through the floor plan, the exhibit space selection process, key deadlines, and what to expect during the March 26th points meeting. We'll also provide an overview of the Exhibitor Portal and the tools available to help you manage your participation next year. To guide you through these details, I'm pleased to turn things over to our WAI sales team. They'll lead the presentation and answer any questions you may have about booth selection, contracts, or next step. Sales, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for that informative panel session. Sorry you guys have to deal with my voice, but good news, it's not catching over Zoom. So I'm just going to say good morning to everybody and thank you for joining us. I'm Shannon Timmey and I'm joined by my colleague Anna Bazowski. Today's presentation is designed to give you a clear understanding of WAI's official point system and how it impacts your exhibit planning and booth selection strategy. We'll begin with an overview of the purpose and the structure of the point system and then walk through exactly how points are calculated and applied. Finally, we'll highlight the Interwire website and available floor plan resources to help you navigate the process efficiently and maximize your participation. By the end of the session, you'll have the tools and the clarity needed to plan confidently for Interwire. Excuse me. The point system began with Interwire 1983 and it continues annually. Every 2-year cycle, the points are recalculated and posted to the event page in October. The point system rewards long-term exhibitor loyalty by accumulating points based on exhibit history, which determines the booth selection priority and ensures a fair, structured space assignment process. WAI Show Management maintains and reviews the point system. We assign exhibit space and we may adjust booth locations as needed. Exhibitors who note a discrepancy must report in writing within 3 years. I am going to attempt to flash a screen to highlight what these points actually look like, which are posted now to the Interwire and the Wire Expo events pages. You can see here, this is an 8-page document. And if I enhance a little bit here, you'll see that the exhibitor name is listed at the top across with the total of points accumulated, years exhibiting, and then 2025, 2024, and so on. But you can access this at any time on wireexpo26.com and interwire27.com. Sorry about this. Here I go. Let's see. So points are earned by exhibiting companies and the ranking of total points accumulation determines which order booths are selected. And pardon me, I think I just skipped over a completely different panel. Okay, so the point system began in 1983, continues annually. We maintain the system. Okay, sorry, just delete that. Points are earned by exhibiting companies and the ranking of total point accumulation determines the order in which booths are selected. Points for WAI's Wire Expo and Interwire are calculated this way: years of exhibiting, square footage or unit size, continuity of years exhibiting. Companies earn only 25 participation points per year, regardless of booth count, plus space-based points, which means 1 point per 100 square foot in addition to their square footage contracted for. Points are awarded only to the companies signing the exhibit license, and not to co-exhibitors. If a company is acquired, the new entity receives the higher of the 2 points totals, not combined. The procedure is in effect up until a pre-publicized point meeting and booth selection date. This year's point meeting, where booth assignments are made, will be on Thursday, March 26th. The WAI staff members and exhibit planning committee, and also some member volunteers, are present at this live meeting event that takes place in WAI's headquarters office located in Madison, Connecticut. Exhibitors are encouraged to follow the process live online. Links to do so are distributed with instructions prior to each meeting. To participate, contracts for exhibit space must be received by March 24th with a 25% deposit. Following the point meeting, booths are assigned on a first-come, first-served basis. Now my colleague will share this year's floor plan and walk you through the booking process. Take it away, Anna Bazowski.
Hello. So as we come to the Interwire webpage, we on the Wire Association wirenet.org page. It brings you to Interwire 2027, and as we scroll down, you can choose your path, which now has the floor plan that you've just seen, the points that were reviewed, and now I'm going to walk you through booking your booth. It brings us to the contract where the exhibiting company enters the contact information. I will use the Wire Association information to enter it in. So you see, you need to select the alpha sort. I have populated my address, my phone number. You can enter your website right here. The next one is your product categories. So we invite you to add up to 5 product categories free of charge. If you needed or wanted to display more, there will be an option I will discuss later. So after you have put your categories, we are an association, so I will select that. You can update this at any time. I will enter my contact information, but change my email address to my work one and put my title in. And we will come to the information about your competitors. So this is the place where you would list the companies you do not wish to exhibit next to. Your competitors should be listed in order of importance. And then the next field allows you to list also companies whom you are planning to share your space with. So this is the space for co-exhibitors. Again, you will have to later purchase an upgrade for your listing to provide an opportunity for your co-exhibitors to be listed and also allow them to market their services and products. The next field is your company description. So that is required. You will define yourself and your products, and you will continue to page 2 where you will select your booth space. So it is important to mention that this is a contract for one booth, and right here where there is space for your size, you need to select the size that you are interested in. So this is the most wanted size of yours. If you decided that you are looking for a 30 by 40 booth, please use that size. And based on that, the system will calculate the pricing. Again, all spaces up to 800 square feet are priced at $29.75 per square foot. The larger sizes above 900 are priced at $20.25. So you have selected your preferred size, and below it, you can again enter any comments that would help us with assigning you the booth location. For instance, I don't want to be next to the theater, or I would really want to be in the upper right corner, or I would like my booth to be close to whomever your non-competitor, your company that you're working closely with and you would like to be near them. So once you go down, after you put your comments, not required, but available, you see your booth selected, and before you select the specific locations, you can select the 30 by 40 size that you just chose, and that actually will allow you to see the inventory of the booth available in its size. So as you see, there are 4 booths selected, which are 30 by 40. As I told you before, this is the main cross-aisle, so I would imagine now it's important to state your priority, that, for instance, this booth is your #1 choice, and I will select this booth and add it to my list. The second one, let's say I like this one as a second choice. Then the third choice is this guy right here to the left, so I will add it. But then I really am not convinced that I like this booth, even though it is the size that I specified as my priority. So would I go and upgrade if the opportunity opens to book this booth, for instance, which, as you see, is 50 by 30. So it's slightly larger than what I wanted, but you never know. And if you are open to changing the size of the booth, you can choose this one as well. So I added the booth of a different size as my 4th choice. However, the first choice, so the 40 by 30, will be the booth that I will be invoiced for. Only if none of my choices, the first 3, won't be available, then if I get my 4th choice, this one, 50 by 30, then we will readjust the invoicing after the points meeting. So I have selected my choices, and I will continue to the next page, where we come to the packages. So as I explained before, the basic complimentary package offers each company a 200-word company description and 5 product category listing. If you would like to upgrade and purchase an enhanced one that allows you for a longer description of your product and services, more categories, it allows you to upload your company logo or some images, you select this one. There is another one for those companies, especially with co-exhibitors and those who would want to have the videos or a highlighted peel on the floor plan and other things. You can read all different options. That's $600 premium exhibitor listing. You can select this one, or you can go all the way to the top of the list and select ultimate showcase exhibitor listing for $850. That basically allows you to do everything. For me, I will be good with the premium, so I select the premium, and that brings us to the order confirmation page. So please do check the information, the contact address, phone number. You can edit that information if you made a mistake, and underneath it will again show you the booth that you have selected. So you want a booth that is 1,200 square feet, and you chose 3 of them, but you also are open to upgrade to a larger booth if none of your choices specified are available. The price again, is based on the 30 by 40. So you can check it. The order for the premium exhibitor listing was added. And this is the total fee for your booth rental, plus premium exhibitor listing and the insurance fee. Please know that we do accept your own insurance, and that can be removed later on as you are able to provide us with your own liability insurance. So we go down to review the terms and conditions. This page has all the payment schedule, cancellation and refunds, and other information about your participation at Interwire 2027. Down below, all we need at this point is your signature and your title. And please know that this is the moment where when you click continue, it will go to the payment page. So this is the moment where you still can go back if you have made any errors, or you want to review again, or you want to put more booth choices. But once you are satisfied with everything that you have done so far, you click on continue, and it will bring you to finalizing this order. Please know that we always available for any advice or any questions. Do check yourself or your company name on that list of points. So alpha list by points. One is alpha and one is by points. I'm sorry. Do check your placement to formulate the strategy for your choices. And we are looking forward to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
I just wanted to share this last slide. Some of these helpful links will be included on the recording when you are all in receipt of that following this. And if you had any questions, I did notice that there was one that was asking for and I think Anna did address it, but I'll answer it again. If you wanted to book for a smaller booth, as opposed to a bigger booth in the process, yes, you would be able to do that as your second, third choice and whatnot.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Shannon, for a very informative webinar on how to book a booth for Interwire. So great. Thank you very much, both of you. And thank you to our sales team for that comprehensive walkthrough of Interwire 2027 exhibit planning process. I hope today's session has given each of you greater clarity and confidence as you prepare for next year's show. To everyone who joined us today, thank you again for your time, your engagement, and continued support of the Wire Association International and Interwire. Your participation is what makes this show such a strong and valuable event to our industry. If you have any additional questions about booth selection, the points meeting, or anything you heard today, please don't hesitate to reach out. And of course, we encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to schedule one-on-one time with the WAI sales team for more personalized guidance. We look forward to working with each of you as we head towards Interwire 2027. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks again for being part of this session. I greatly appreciate it.